Hey guys, welcome to the video number 249, and in this video I'm going to talk about that if you have a lot of data stored in your Excel spreadsheets, then how to actually get rid of all those automatic calculation modes, which actually impacts on your speed. You can't really work so free, and every time the sheet goes in the auto calculation mode. Now if you have faced this problem, then you must be understanding me what I'm actually saying, and if you haven't faced this problem, then I'm going to actually show you the example what exactly I mean. And this video is actually the answer to one of my subscribers who have asked me a couple of weeks back that basically he asked me two things: how to run the macros fast, and what are the tips basically one needs to take care of while working on the Excel. So I have already uploaded the video that how you can run your macros fast, how you can save time, and this is the another video which is going to be purely on the Excel, right? So in this video I have here the Excel sheet. As you can see, before I go ahead and show you what exactly we want to do, this is the playlist, guys. Just go ahead and watch all these playlists, whatever subject you're looking forward to. If it is your Excel or Excel VB or Access or Excel VB, you can simply scroll it down and you can find out the amazing videos there. Most of the videos are my an attempt to actually answer your queries, so they are all the very practical kind of videos, right? All right, so now let me show you what exactly I have done to set up all this environment, right? Because I wanted to save the time, I wanted to save your time, so that's why I have already created the database, and I'm going to tell you exactly how I have made this database. Now this is if you see here that whenever I delete something, for example I have deleted this, you see that this is going on the calculation mode, right? Because we have actually applied in the column E, F, G, H lot of formulas, right? And this is a database where I think I'm using around 30,000-40,000 rows, so you can expect that definitely to calculate all the cells, Excel is going to take a lot of time, right? Now you see that this is calculation is happening. It is the 86%. The moment it goes to the 100%, it will stop, and I will be ready for the next changes, whatever I want to do, right? So this is I can show you. I have just couple of formulas I have used, like VLOOKUP, COUNTIF. So we have E, F, G, H. We have the formulas here, and these are the column A and B, C, D. They have simply the data, right? So if I go to the last row, you see that I'm using 47,385 rows, right? And so if you want to count all these cells, let me just count. So you see that they are like 1,89,536. You can see here. So these are the cells which are going to be calculated every time, right? And that is why your calculation happens, and every time you need to wait for that. And I have also created a same sheet where you have another formulas, right? You can see here I have a formula in the column E and in the column F, just to make this file heavier so that we can understand. And here I'm using 70,000 rows, out of which these are the cells which are actually where we have used this the formula, right? So formula always makes your file heavy. I hope you know that, right? So having this much of data, definitely Excel is going to take little time to do the calculations whenever you do any changes in your data, right? Now for example, if you see that if I'm going to change this cell, which is the B2 cell, I'm going to write here, let's say A, and I press enter. Okay, the moment I press enter, I should start. You can see here that the calculation is happening. Why? Because in the columns E, F, G, H, somewhere here I am using actually this B2, right? So I'm not focusing here on the formulas, because that's not something we are looking forward to, but I'm trying to explain that if you do any changes in these numbers, then what will happen, this calculation happens every time, and this is very irritating, trust me. Well, it cannot be, but one thing is sure, that this is going to take a lot of time, and you will every time you get stuck, because you just keep on waiting for this, right? Now suppose if you want to just copy and paste some values here, you see the numbers got changed because the formula is using like for example we are using the COUNTIF, and this is the B2 cell I'm using here, right? So that is what exactly happening. Every time you change the numbers, it is going to hang for a moment, because all that calculation actually happens. Now for example, similarly, if I just copy the data, let's say, and I go to the new sheet and I'm just going to use the paste value option. I go in the home tab and I'm going to paste the values here, or you can use the Alt ES as well. That's one and the same thing. The moment you paste the values, right, for example, I have pasted the values. Now you see that this is going to again go in the calculation mode. You can see here, right, the calculation again is happening, and this is something, you know, which we really don't want to do that. So I'm going to tell you a way today. Right now what we can do is, instead of having this auto calculation mode on, we can actually off it. Let's not get it on every time. Now this is specifically I'm doing only for this task, right, where you are actually playing around with, you know, huge numbers. You have a lot of formulas on your sheets, and this is really very irritating. And so what we can do is, instead of doing the calculations after every or this small moves like copy paste and changing the numbers, why not we just go ahead and, you know, first do all the setup, and then at the end, when we know that everything we are through with everything, you know, then we can just simply go ahead and use some options which can, you know, do the recalculation. So in that way it is going to be it is going to save a lot of time, and it is not really going to also make you irritate, you know, it's not going to give you any irritation. So if you go to the sheet 1 and let's go to the file option, actually not the sheet, I mean you can go on any sheet. You go to the file and the option. Now I'm using Excel 2016, but it doesn't really matter. If you have a 2007 or 2010 or 2013, you would have this file option everywhere, right? So go in the files option, and just in case if you're using 2007, I guess in the 2007 they don't have this file tab. Instead they have a big circle here coming out, and you need to click on that, right? And the moment you click on that, you would see this option. So when you go in the options mode in this formula, you see that this is the area where we need to work. So we have the workbook, calculation, automatic, and then we have the manual also, you can see here, right? Now automatic is the by default option. It is never going to be the manual unless you come here and you do it yourself, right? Because Excel always does the calculation automatically, which is also makes a lot of sense, because, you know, when you write some formula and you enter it, you want the results immediately, right? But in the cases where you have a lot of data coming and a lot of formulas are placed, and every time you do something in the data and you really don't want to, you know, want to face this kind of a issue that Excel starts calculating the things again and again and going to, you know, eat up your lot of time, what you can do, guys, you can use this manual option. Right, click on the manual option, and if you need this recalculate workbook before saving, you can on it. Then that what will happen, whenever you save the workbook, it is going to recalculate. So it's a good option, but right now I'm just going to off it, let's say. Now this is called the manual option. Now I'm going to press OK here, right? All set. Now if I change anything here, let me change this to A and press enter. You see that there's nothing going to happen here. You don't see any calculation happening, right? If I again go ahead and change this to A, you see that you can work it. You can work on this sheet, you know, so freely. You really don't have to wait for any calculation. And moreover, if you even copy this data, let me just copy the data, and let's go to the sheet, another sheet, the same steps I'm doing. This time I use Alt ES to go to the paste special value. Otherwise, I told you the option is there. Under the home tab you have the paste, and you need to click on the paste value. Okay, so I click on these values. Now once I click on these values, I'm gonna press OK. The moment I press OK, you see that it tells you everything like average, count, max, sum, you know, but there's no calculation actually coming here, right? So in this way you are very much free. By the way, if you have any doubts that how I'm able to see these average, count and max, though it is not the topic of this video, but I can tell you, you can just right click on your taskbar and you can check mark all these buttons, all these options, right? So when you right click, you would see there average, count, maximum, sum. So this is just for your quick reference if you want to have a couple of, you know, these things handy. Without using the formula, you can, you know, see the average of the numbers, how many counts we have, maximum, minimum also, or you can check here again, you know, it will make it unchecked and then that will not be shown here, right? So this is how the things are actually there. All right, so anyways, that is something which I was not actually talking about, but what I'm talking about is that how to off the calculation mode. Now suppose I'm through with everything now. I have done all the copy and paste, and let's say I want some deletion also. I can just go ahead, I can delete the sheet as well. Let me delete the sheet. You see that nothing is going to happen here, no calculations happening. Now I have done the changes, and I'm going to change something here as well. I'm going to change something here as well. I'm going to change some numbers here as well. Let's say, you see that nothing is happening, right? There's no calculation happening. And I'm going to, let's say, paste one more cell here. I'm just copy this. This is the formula I'm going to paste here. So obviously your file will again become more heavy now, because it has another additional cells, and these are 47,000 cells, right? So but you see that I'm very much fluent in my work. There is no basically there is no hanging happening. There is no auto calculation happening. But now the point is how to set this on the calculation mode now, because I'm through with everything. I deleted the sheet, I pasted the values where I wanted, I changed the numbers. But now before I close this workbook, I want to see the results, whatever I have done. So in that case, guys, what you need to do is to set up this calculation mode now on the making sure that this workbook now should calculate everything once again from the start. You need to press F9. Okay, I'm gonna write here F9. F9 is the shortcut key which we use to always set your manual calculation to the automatic calculation. Okay, now this does not mean that if you press F9 then in the background it will change to the automatic. No, it will not change, but it will do the calculations just to do the recalculation. So I'm going to press F9, and there we go. I pressed F9, and you see that it's calculating now, right? So in this way you can bring a lot of speed in your work. Whenever you want, you can do the calculations. Whenever you do not want, you just keep on writing the stuff, you keep on changing the values, whatever you want to do. And at last, when you're comfortable that all things are set up now and let's go for the recalculation, you can press F9. Right now, once this calculation is going to be finished, you will see the changes here, obviously, right, based on the new values. But what I actually want to show you, that let's go to the file and the option, and let's see that if the manual option which we have selected, has that been changed, right? So I can see that it is not going to change at all. You see that? All right, so the calculation is done. Now let's go to the file and option. Click on the formula, and you see that it is still manual. So F9, if you press F9, that does not mean that it is going to change this option. F9 only means that it is going to do the calculation for you for that particular time when you actually are going to press this F9. Otherwise it is not going to affect anything, right? So once again, if I put this on the this option, let's say I'm going to put this on the formula, on the automatic, and I click OK, you see that it is going to do the calculation again. Now this again, the same things will be repeated. Anytime you change anything, these calculation keeps on happening. But I must tell you one thing, guys, when you put your workbooks on the manual mode, please ensure that you should be knowing that, because sometimes what happens, you forgot that you are on the manual mode, and you look at the formulas and they don't give you the results, right? And then you get frustrated. What is happening? You try to post-mortem your formula, right? Which is absolutely doesn't make any sense, because your calculation is actually on the manual mode. And moreover, if you see this calculate mode, this else also tells you that actually it is on the calculation mode. So that is also something you can always actually take care of it. I mean, it is calculating or not, right? So now if I do any changes here, let me press A and press enter. I press the enter, and there we go. You see that the calculation again happening. And so to avoid these things, you simply need to press Alt FT. Alt FT is a shortcut key to go to this. Alt FT, right, and just keep it manual. This is optional. If you want to do that, you can do that before saving. The calculation will every time it will happen, right? So that's it. This is the tip I wanted to tell you. Now I hope that if you're somebody who's extensively who really works on Excel too much and have a big these spreadsheets in terms of its size, then you can use this option. And don't forget that you actually are on the manual calculation. This is very important, right? So I hope you have appreciated this, because this is really a very cool stuff. I use it a lot. especially when I work on the spreadsheets, different spreadsheets, and it helps me a lot, right? So thank you so much, guys. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, as I always say, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I'm going to come back with some more exciting stuff very soon. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.